who are joining us tonight. So my name is Ray Bronincant. I am the Youth Leadership Coordinator at Audubon Vermont. I have been with Audubon for a while now in a few different roles, and this is very exciting that we're doing this alumni event because the Youth Leadership Program is culminating in a bunch of different programs. So the program is supported generously by the Maggie Incentive Fund, and Audubon Vermont is providing opportunities for the next generation of conservation leaders through our structured paid internship program, student-led campus Audubon chapter program, and the Vermont Youth Conservation Corps environmental literacy training program. So this Alumni Week aims to create a space for current or former participants of these programs to build a community and foster learning and professional development between one another. And so we're excited to invite the public to this event as well as our alumni, and hopefully this is our most fun event. Not that the other events weren't fun, but this is our most lighthearted event. And we'll get to have some friendly competition with each other as well. And so, yeah, I have a special guest with us this evening. And before I do that though, I'm gonna do Zoom norms really quick. So I'm sure you're used to this, but we are all going to keep ourselves muted. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Kira, our engagement intern, is going to be moderating the chat. And then we'll be recording tonight. Not that it will be posted anywhere yet, but just we might post it somewhere. So if you don't want to have a cameo on Audubon's YouTube page, then make sure you turn your camera off. Yeah, and so my favorite bird, before I hand it over, is the Blackburnian warbler. It's so exciting when you see them. Also, my favorite color is orange, and so it's hard not to love them. So tonight I have Gustavo Figuera joining us, who is the Student Outreach Associate at National Audubon's, and he is very much a part of the Audubon Campus Chapter program, and he focuses on connecting Audubon with college and university students across the country. So I'm going to give him the opportunity to just introduce himself and the Campus Chapter program.
Hi, Ray. Thank you for that. Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for having me. Like Ray said, my name is Gustavo Figueroa. I'm Student Outreach Associate with the Audubon on Campus program. He, him, his, working from Washington Heights, and I work for the National Audubon Society down in New York City. So I know that the theme for this whole alumni event has been, growth and how do you get a job, but also like how do you pretty much network with other folks and speakers. So I wanted to spend some time as to a little bit of my journey and how I ended up at National Audubon Society, as well as then, how my skills, but also my passion led to being part of the Audubon on Campus program. So throughout my high school, as well as in my college years, I was always had a passion for environment, specifically animals. Since I was a kid, I had little animal toys, and that was something that I always pursued it. And then, you add things like Digimon when I was a kid, Pokemon. So I always had a thing for living things and protecting them, as well as being able to validate their existence. So from high school through college, I always participated in volunteer events with the Nature Conservancy, and that led me to network within offices, and then essentially land a job with the Nature Conservancy, both the LEAF program as a high schooler, then the GLOVE program. And sorry about the background noise. This is what it is to work at New York City. And then from the GLOVE program to then work in the National Nature Conservancy in DC as part of the corporate engagement department, where I dealt with like corporations and pushed them towards including the environmental agenda and setting up funds to reduce their human impact, as well as their pollution or contamination. Throughout that, my core values have always been making sure that the environment is at its core, making sure that you're providing respect to the environment, but also making sure that you're unapologetically being yourself, but also keep your core values together. So as I applied for the National Audubon Society as the Audubon on Campus program, I really felt that that was a place for me to be, and that is empowering young voices like when I was in college and high school, as well as young professionals to make sure that they get a say and have a seat at the table. And it's not just dominated by predominantly older generations who are very traditional on their beliefs. So a couple of advice, stay true to your values, keep those close, and make sure that you express those throughout your work, throughout your ethics. Make sure you network. So for all the speakers you attended, follow up with a thank you email, follow up with a thank you letter, thanking them for sharing their experiences, their time, but also make sure you connect them, with you. So maybe LinkedIn, maybe send them a thank you email, etc. So being able to make those connections. So bringing it back to Audubon, the Audubon on Campus program is here to support students' involvement, students' activities on campus. We are working together with clubs as well as student-run organizations to pretty much either be affiliated with Audubon through the program or be recognized as campus chapters. We believe that as Audubon, we should be supporting your programming efforts and making sure that we are empowering you in every step of the way, from recruiting people to maybe setting up events. Maybe you're having difficulty coming up with a meeting or creating an event, right? That's what we're here for, and we're here for to support that. So aside from that, we want to make sure that we also support your environmental interests. So sometimes you might think about birds, maybe other times you want to think about advocacy and think about how you can push forward a policy or some type of initiative that will protect birds, right? So that's what we're here for, to support you and making sure that you're exploring your interests. And then lastly, to build a community, right? To be able to connect with other student leaders across the country and make sure that not only are you expressing your ideas, but you're also listening to them and see what they have to offer. Maybe some best practices, or maybe they will be your next friend or your colleague. So I'm really excited to attend the trivia. I'll stick around and see if I can win first prize. So, competition out there. So again, I want to thank everyone for having me. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, UVM. And I guess next up, the UVM campus chapter.
Awesome. Thanks, Gustavo. Jasper, do you want to go ahead and go first?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jasper. I am the VP of the UVM chapter of Audubon, and I prefer to just go by my name, but they/them or he/him pronouns also work. Let's see. I refuse to pick a favorite bird because they're all very good. I think I like Hutton's vireo, bush tit, wren tit, and California condor because I firmly believe that being from California is a personality trait. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jasper. Grace, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, hi, I'm Grace. I'm the social media coordinator for the UVM chapter. She, her pronouns. I also refuse to pick a favorite bird. I love them all, but right now it probably has to be cedar waxwing for no particular reason. I just think they're wonderful.
Awesome. Thanks, Grace. So yeah, so we're going to get started pretty soon, but I just want to raise up the UVM campus chapter. They've been doing a lot of great work. They're in their third year. They have around 100 members, which is really great. And before COVID started, they had been doing bird walks and making sure that everybody could join in, using the places around the campus and planning to go further. And so they also are working to create bird-friendly glass on campus and dealing with that and figuring that all out, which is really exciting. And they've just created a really great birding community, and they have they've been doing highlights of birding spots, which has been really cool. So there are a lot of great birding spots in the Burlington area and in Vermont in general. And so it's been really great to have them highlighting those spots. And I'll be sharing those spots on our website, which Kira will put in the chat later too. And so I just want to elevate their voices, but we're here for trivia. So let's get trivia going. So the way that it's going to work is we're using a program called Kahoot. I'm going to share my screen now. So in order to make this work, you have to head over to this website, which is kahoot.it.com. Once you're there, you put in that game pin number, and that will join you to our game, and so that we can all be playing against each other together. And Grace, myself, and Jasper are going to be rotating through the questions as we go. And our questions tonight are a wide range of categories. So we have bird ID, we have Vermont birds, we have bird policy, we have equity in birding, and then we also have how you can be involved in Audubon. So I am loving some of the names. So I'll just wait for people to join in, give you a chance to get going before we get started. And then each question will be about 30 seconds long. So you get to put in your answer. They do a fun little thing every time so you can see who won. And it's, we're all winners. We're going to be gaining knowledge, but still. So I'm just going to wait because I know there are more of you than the people that have joined. And once it gets started, it's started. All right. Nice.
Well, I just wanted to share a cool thing that I saw today. I was down at the Intervale going for a walk, and I was walking along the river trail that like follows right along the river, and I stopped and looked out on the river, and there was something swimming along, and I didn't know what it was because I didn't have my binoculars on me, but it was a beaver. And so as I was walking along the river, the beaver was also swimming kind of at the same rate. And so like at different points, I'd like stick my head out looking at the river, and the beaver would be right there. And it was just really cool because then it swam up onto the bank and was gnawing on some wood for a while. So that was really cool.
Amazing. I love nature stories.
There was also recently a lot of beaver activity at Beaver Pond at Audubon, and two of our teacher naturalists, Sarah and Emily, got it on a game camera. So when I was like leaving the office earlier today, I got to look at some beaver footage, which was really exciting. So
That is so exciting.
Lots of beaver stories.
Yeah, we have Beaver Pond at Audubon at our center, and there hasn't been a beaver there in a really long time. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting that we have a beaver there now. I went looking at frog eggs last night, my last beaver story, unless someone else has one. I went looking for frog eggs last night, and I was just like wading through the pond, looking at all the frogs. It was pitch black. It's a huge peeper course right now. And I remembered that our last education meeting, we talked about how beavers are actually really dangerous. And there's a beaver in the pond. And so the beaver kept slapping his tail at me, and I saw it and I was just like, oh, it's so nice. And then that came back to me, that memory of that conversation of talking about how beavers can like take dogs down underwater. And I just was like, I'm done and stopped doing it. But beavers are great. It's great. Okay, so let's get going. And people, maybe Kira, if people aren't joined in, they can, you can direct them in the right direction. So, okay, I'm going to press start. And Grace, are you ready to read the first question? Awesome.
I absolutely am.
Sweet, let's do it. And oh, side note, we're on computers, but use your brain ability. Here we go.
All right, which one of these options is a good way to get involved with Audubon? Becoming a member, attending a virtual event, participating in citizen science projects, or all of the above and more?
Good work, everybody.
Very well done.
Very well done. All right. Wow. You did it. Must have done it fastest, Maddie, because you got the most points. Nice.
My students play this all the time, so I've mastered.
Unfair advantage. Practice makes perfect. Okay, great. So next, what species is this? Wait for it. This one's tricky. There are some bird ID ones that aren't as tricky. Oops. So actually we changed this one, but then we did we not change the answer?
I guess not our bad.
Well,
or I guess really my bad, but
a lot of you got it right, but this one, so this one was actually a field sparrow. Don't worry. And so so the fields, they look really similar to female bobolinks. So we tried to stump you on that. And then they also obviously look similar to the Savannah sparrow, but the difference is they have a white eye ring and they have a pinkish bill. But that one was a stumper. All right, on to the next one.
That was tricky.
That one was, yeah, don't worry.
All right, so which of these countries is not involved in the Migratory Bird Treaty Act? Is it Russia, Sri Lanka, Japan, or Mexico?
This one was also tricky. Got a
So
good
the
mix.
countries involved in the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, as of now, to the best of my understanding, are Russia, Japan, Mexico, Canada, and the United States. Although in the original wording of the bill, it mentions the United Kingdom in the context of Canada, which I found interesting.
Amazing. Good work, everyone. All right, ready for the next one?
All right, what is the Christmas bird count? Counts of all the birds named in the 12 days of Christmas. Surveys done by volunteers around Christmas time where all the birds in a given area are counted. A rigorous account of all the birds seen on Christmas Island, Australia. Or a survey of how many birds people get as a present on Christmas.
Awesome work. Raise your hand if you've done a Christmas bird count. Nice. All right. A lot of shuffling. What year was the Migratory Bird Treaty Act passed? 2021, 1918, 2000, or 1836? Awesome, yeah. So this treaty, 1918 is the correct answer. This treaty prohibits the take, including killing, capturing, selling, trading, and transporting of the protected migratory bird species without prior authorization from the Department of Interior, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. And so, and this treaty basically protects nearly all of America's, all of the country's native birds. Pretty exciting. All right, let's see. Ooh, on fire.
All right, who was the famous author of the book Silent Spring? Was it Charles Darwin, Rachel Carson, Alan Strong, or Abigail Adams?
I think the fact that Al Strong got on that list is pretty impressive.
I think we have to give context too.
Someone needs to tell him.
Honestly, me putting Alan Strong on there was just like a very like, I forget the word. I was just like, I should put Alan on there. That would be funny, and I did.
Yeah.
There we go.
Has written the book.
What was that?
Has Alan Strong ever written the book?
Good question.
I don't think he has,
I
but
don't think he
I know
has-
he's done like a butt ton of studies and research, but
He's written in a book, if that counts. He's written some of the entries for the second breeding bird atlas of Vermont.
oh really?
wait, is that like a thing you have to buy, or isn't that open source?
The breeding atlas is an open source. We should put that link in the chat. It's an awesome, awesome resource.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for the next one? First, let's see. Nice.
All right, which of these Vermont species was among the first to be protected by the Endangered Species Act? Red-tailed hawk, bald eagle, black tern, or American crow?
We need music while we're waiting.
So there is music. Want me to check? I can share my computer volume and make it happen. It's actually hilarious. Share computer sound. All right, you're gonna get music now. Awesome. All right, some more. I'll turn it up a little more. Which of these species will you most likely find in Vermont? Is the sound working?
Yeah.
I love Kahoot music.
Yeah, it's definitely spicy elevator music.
Now I'm getting a little stressed out though.
He has a really high pitch.
I think it speeds up too as like you're
So
waiting.
you really feel the pressure.
It's way more intense than I remember.
Yeah. So you could find prairie warblers in Vermont for sure, but you'd have to really seek them out. So once you know them, you will hear them all the time and see them all the time, the American redstart. And I feel like we always joke about, like, if you don't know what it is and it's a warbler, you just say American redstart because they have so many different calls and you just, they're always calling and they're everywhere. Yeah. All right. Pulling ahead a little.
All right. Which bird migrates farther than almost any other species in Vermont, wintering in central South America? Is it the black-capped chickadee, dark-eyed junco, bobolink, or northern shrike? Yep, it's the bobolink. Northern shrikes actually migrate south, or at least move south in the winter to Vermont.
Awesome. 7 correct in a row.
All right. The scientific name of the mallard is Anis platyrhynchos. Which of these statements is incorrect? Anis is Latin for duck. Platy comes from the ancient Greek and means broad. Platy comes from the La Platte River, where mallards are often found. Or rhynchos comes from ancient Greek and means bill.
I feel like we were going 5 miles an hour and we just jumped to 100.
Sorry. So the La Platte River, for context of those of you who don't live in Vermont, that's a Vermont river.
I've never been there. I've been in Vermont for 3 years.
It's beautiful. It's a great place to go canoeing if you can find a canoe. It's really,
Well,
really
man-
lovely.
Are
Mouth of the La Platte River around Shelburne Bay is a really good place for birding as well.
Yeah.
I also heard the ospreys are back.
Wow. Awesome.
That can confirm they are.
Ooh, shift, leader shift. Oh man, spicing up. Okay. Which of these species is the state bird of the most US states? The northern mockingbird, the western meadowlark, California quail, or northern cardinal? Nice, yeah. So the northern cardinal is the state bird for 7 states, and then the western meadowlark is a close second with 6.
There are so many birds. It's fascinating that we have several that repeat among states.
Yeah, people just have an affinity towards certain birds. But yeah, I think about that all the time. How can there not be
yeah.
an
Why
individual?
does Vermont use hermit thrush instead of winter wren? It's so overrated, overused.
Should petition to get it changed.
On the contrary, why should it be winter wren?
because
Hermit thrush is a perfectly fine bird. The only one I can think of that might even be better is, say, Bicknell's thrush, but that's
winter
just me.
wren's better, and plus winter wren nests like hermit thrush only nest in most of the higher elevations. You can find winter wren everywhere. Literally every type of habitat Vermont has winter wrens.
That's a good point.
I gotta be right back. There's some people shouting outside my window, and I'm gonna ask them to quiet down.
Okay. I will read the next question. What species is this? Is it the hermit thrush? Sorry, the brown thrasher, ovenbird, or the wood thrush? One's a little tricky too. The hermit thrush. These are very tricky species to identify. Jasper, do you want to lay your bird knowledge on us to tell them big difference between them?
Yeah, one of the big kind of ID giveaways for the hermit thrush is it's got this like cinnamon colored or rufous colored tail, which really stands out in comparison to the kind of more gray brown color of the rest of the back. And then it's also got some kind of grayish brown spots on the front that really set it apart from a lot of the other birds that look like it.
Thanks. Does anybody know what the ovenbird's mnemonic is?
Teacher, teacher, teacher.
No, it's pizza, pizza, pizza.
It's pizza.
Oh, I like teacher better.
Yeah, it could be either. Both are great things, but you put the pizza in the oven. Also, who doesn't want to think about pizza?
Cheater.
What'd you say?
Cheater, cheater, cheater.
Could be that too. That works well. Pizza, pizza, pizza. I like when we have the kids saying that in the forest all the time. All right. Ooh, it's shifting. We're shifting.
All right, which of these species is named after a woman? Blackburnian warbler, northern parula, Wilson snipe, or Bonaparte's gull? Blackburnian warbler. The Blackburnian warbler was actually named after Anna Blackburn, who was an English naturalist, which I think is very cool.
Me too. All right. Which of these is a good way to get involved with Green Mountain Audubon? Becoming a member, attending a virtual event, participating in citizen science, or all of these and more? Instant. Good work. All of these and more. Yeah. So you can, a few ways to just keep in the know is you can always check out Audubon Vermont's events page, but also if you sign up for our newsletter, we send out newsletters often, and we include events as well as sort of the happenings of Audubon Vermont and the Green Mountain Audubon Center. And we love when you're involved with us. Good job, everyone. Oh, you're muted, Jasper.
Sorry, I thought I was not muted.
No problem.
So yeah, who founded the first state Audubon Society?
Awesome.
The first Audubon chapter was founded in response to the overhunting of egrets for their plumes, which was driving several species almost to extinction. They were being used for fashion.
Women stood up for the birds. There's a great children's book about that also. I forget the name of it, but I can find it out and put it in the chat.
She's wearing a bird on her head. Is that
That's
one?
what it is. Yep.
4 copies of it.
Yeah, it's so good. Worth a read. Check it out from your local library. Okay, this one is a doozy.
I muted. Sorry. What species is this? White-breasted nuthatch, black-capped chickadee, tufted titmouse, or chestnut-backed chickadee?
Good job, everyone. The toughest little winter birds.
You faked me out, Ray, when you said it was a doozy.
Well, so actually I thought we were on the next one. So this one is a doozy. Are you ready? One ostrich egg is equivalent to the weight of how many chicken eggs? 24, 12, 3, or 6? $24. One ostrich egg weighs 3 to 4 pounds and is the equivalent of 24 chicken eggs. An ostrich may lay as many as 70 of these. So I wrote that down, but really reading that now, is that in a lifetime? Is that at one time? I'm not sure. So not a Vermont bird. All right, ready for the next one?
Which of these bird species is protected federally? European starling, house sparrow, brown-headed cowbird, and rock pigeon. Of these four species, brown-headed cowbird is the only native bird of three. All of the other three were introduced from Europe.
I often relate the brown-headed cowbird with the European starling because they showed up at our bird feeders around the same time and have never left. And so that one was surprising to me.
Learning things. Great. Love the feedback.
All right, true or false? Vermont H683 is necessary to fill the gap left by federal rollbacks of the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, one of our nation's oldest wildlife protections. Governor Scott approved this bill.
Good job. David, do you want to talk about this at all and the success, or are any of David's interns on here?
No, there's none of the policy interns. This is definitely a success attribute the entire success of getting this bill passed to our interns. And just in case you were thinking, it was like, oh, what does that mean? I mean, I don't recall a time when an environmental bill has passed unanimously. All three parties, every single member of the House and the Senate all voted for this bill, which creates a whole new set of protections against something called incidental take, which is the idea that when if you're taking an action and you're not intending to kill a bird, like an action intended to kill a bird would be shooting it with a gun, for instance. But an action that you know is gonna kill a bird, like you are gonna wipe out a bunch of great blue heron rookery, nests. You're gonna wipe out a bunch of chimney swifts that are nesting along a bridge. Your goal you may just be trying to clear trees, or you may be trying to clean the bridge, but your goal is not to kill the bird. And until 2017 and a decision by the President Trump administration, the federal government had always interpreted the Migratory Bird Treaty Act to reach that kind of incidental take. That is, you weren't allowed to kill a bird just and then claim it, well, it wasn't my goal to kill a bird. I knew it was going to get killed, but it wasn't my purpose. That was overturned. And so what H683 did was reverse that in Vermont and returned that to be the requirement here. And again, it was awesome. It took 2 whole years and a lot of work by our interns to write newsletter articles and write letters and emails and get our membership involved and drafting the bill language, negotiating the bill language. Super proud of our interns for getting that done.
Yeah, it was an amazing feat. Thanks for talking about that, David. That was awesome. Youth leadership program, doing great things. All right, into the next. Nathaniel, you are on a streak of 16 in a row. That's amazing. Good work. So, in what state was the first Audubon Society established? Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, or Vermont? Massachusetts. So something interesting too. So Audubon there's National Audubon, and then there's other entities that fall under the Audubon realm. So you can tell if an organization is affiliated with National Audubon if they have Audubon before the state. So Audubon Vermont, we're affiliated with National, whereas Massachusetts Audubon is not affiliated with National, but still under the umbrella of the Audubon preserving birds for now and the future, doing the same great work. But the first Audubon Society was in Massachusetts.
As a Jersey girl, I'm a little bit offended that no one voted for Jersey. All didn't think we could do it, huh? I mean, we didn't, but.
But nobody thought it.
Oh.
Good job, Kira. 7. All right.
So what are some ways you can engage with Audubon near you? Can you join a local chapter? I couldn't even finish reading it.
You can join a local chapter or start a campus chapter of your own. You can visit the Audubon Center for a hike or program, and you can reach out to your state office to see how you can help birds in your state.
There's a certain pattern emerging for these questions.
Positivity and promotion. Alliteration. All right. On to the next.
All right. Althea Sherman was an ornithologist and illustrator. Which of the following structures was she the first person to build? Chimney Swift Tower, Bluebird Box, nesting platforms for loons, or osprey nesting platforms?
There's some defeated faces. Speaking of chimney swift towers, go check out the chimney swift tower if you're in Vermont. That is up at Oakledge, that the NR 206 that UVM helped build, and then the King Street Center painted. And also we're going to be hosting a chimney swift monitoring event really soon, a webinar like we did last year about all the ways that you can monitor chimney swifts, and we need your help. So yeah.
And there's a new chimney swift tower being built down in Rutland.
Yeah, at Vin's. Also at Vin's too.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's happening.
What is a chimney swift tower? What does
What
it
was
look
that?
like? What's a chimney swift tower?
Oh my gosh, a chimney swift tower is a habitat that is man-made that provides habitat and nesting space for chimney swifts. It basically looks like a chimney, but it's just on a platform. I can show you photos of our chimney swift tower at the end. I have too many screens going on to do that right now.
Okay, I can just look it up. That's cool though. It's like a chimney coming out of the ground.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool. Okay. Next question. We're getting close to the end. Which organizations host a platform where you can go to find and contribute mobility and accessibility information like trail surface, grade, parking for local trails and birding hotspots? All Trails, Birdability, Trail Link, or Audubon? Birdability. So you should join us tomorrow. Yeah, good job. You should join us tomorrow. We're going to be having our wrap-up alumni event, which is a panel on changing the story around birding. I'll put the link in the chat later. But the Birdability coordinator herself, Freya, will be on that panel and joining us. And they work to elevate and promote the spaces where it is accessible for all to go birding.
Hey, Ray, I found the photo of the chimney tower.
Oh, great. You want to
So-
share it quick? I could stop sharing my screen.
Sure.
Boop. All right. Your turn.
See if you can recognize who the person on the right, actually, yeah, the person on the right is.
With the mask and everything.
It's Ray.
Yay! Extra bonus points.
Woohoo! It's me. That was so fun. That was so much work. So much cement. Cement is heavy. But it was great. All right. Back to. We have a few more questions. All right.
Which bird's calls did Harriet Tubman mimic as a signal on the Underground Railroad? Barn owl, barred owl, mourning dove, or rock pigeon? There you go, barred owl. I'm gonna be honest, a barn owl would have been a dead giveaway. They just kind of scream like demons. It's fantastic.
You should look it up.
I'm trying to think how a human would even imitate that.
I have a really bad recording on iNaturalist that I can send in the chat.
Awesome.
Oh, please do.
There's also great creepy videos of barn owls in their like nesting boxes when they don't have all their feathers, and there's awesome videos of them. But what does a barn owl say? Does anybody know?
Who cooks for you?
You.
Yes, who cooks for you all? So great. All right.
All right, where in Vermont are you most likely to find a black-backed woodpecker? Green Mountain National Forest, Northeast Kingdom, Champlain Valley, or Mount Mansfield? Northeast Kingdom is correct. I'm pretty sure it's also like probably the only spot in the state that you can find a black-backed woodpecker, but
I love the commentary of this. Okay. All of these birds except for stay during the Vermont winter. So the chickadee, the wild turkey, the dark-eyed jungle, the turkey vulture. So who leaves?
I don't understand why everyone isn't dancing. Thanks, Grace. Making me feel good.
The turkey vulture. So to me, that is such a sign of spring when you see those tippy V's floating down the highway and overhead. Yeah, that means that salamanders are about to migrate. It's very exciting.
Ray, do you know if it's true that I seem to recall reading that turkey vultures weren't originally in Vermont? They followed the interstate system up, eating dead roadkill. I don't know if that's true or not.
Seems like Grace knows the answer to that question.
Oh God, no. Yeah, I'm not a vulture expert by any means, but yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah. It seems to have some merit. So
Yeah, that's
species have historically moved north into Vermont. See, northern cardinal is one of those species. Tufted titmouse is one of those species. Carolina wren, red-bellied woodpecker. All of those have kind of moved north into Vermont in the past, I want to say 100, 150 years.
I think black vultures are also slowly making their way up north to Vermont too.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I've seen, eBird reports are getting more and more frequent slowly.
One lived
black
in my
vultures and
parents' broken down barn. Go ahead, Nathaniel. Yeah.
I was just going to say the black vultures that have been sticking around through the winters in Vermont too have seemed to be employing a pretty neat tactic where they're actually hanging around on chimneys. So I've actually seen a couple times where on a cold winter day, you'll see a couple black vultures either in Brattleboro or Burlington that are sort of hunched around a chimney, keeping warm.
That's amazing.
You know, like that's like a few bird species, like common ravens. I feel like I noticed in like New York, like New York City, like 10, 15 years ago, like if you saw one in the city, it would be a big rare bird and you tell your friends about it. And like now it's like a nice thing to see, but it's not rare. It's just you often could see it flying over on a good day or nesting in a structure. I'm kind of up here, Burlington. I'm just used to seeing ravens. I actually think over by the water tower near Redstone, they might be nesting.
And Katie put an article in the chat. Thanks, Katie. Awesome. This chat is going to be worth downloading later. All the information. Okay. Oh, I think this is our last question, and then we get to watch the results unfold.
So roughly speaking, how many bird species have been found in Vermont? Are we thinking 260, 310, 175, or 220?
So you tell me that more bird species have been found in Jamaica Bay than Vermont.
You tell me.
Let's see, that's 260 species. Looking at it briefly on eBird, apparently 389 species have been observed in Vermont.
Mm.
Then all the answers are wrong.
Freebie. All right. Are we ready to see the podium?
Kira!
Woohoo!
Daniel!
All right, who's COVID-19? Nice job.
Who is COVID-19?
That's who.
Congratulations.
I've had.
Nice. Clever name. Good job, everybody. I'm going to stop staring at my screen. That was great. We all are winners because we all gained knowledge, and hopefully you all had a great time. Round of applause for everybody. So that did not take as long as I thought it would. It's only 8 o'clock right now. But a quick few things. I just wanted to say thank you for coming. I also want to promote our event for tomorrow. So we are, like I said, have our last night of our alumni week, and then we're going to have that amazing panel about changing the story around birding. And so Kira's going to put the link in the chat. So you can register at that link and learn more there about that link. And then one other piece is Kira's also going to link in the link to our campus chapter page, Audubon Vermont's campus chapter page, which there eventually will be those birding hotspots that the campus chapter has been talking, the UVM campus chapter has been talking about listed there. So it'll be a great resource. But for now, there's a video of the how to start a campus chapter of a webinar that I did. It's about an hour long. So if you have a lot of questions that will answer all your questions, you can always reach out to me though. And then there's one last link that Kira's going to put in that takes you directly to, so this is how to be an affiliate, but if you go here, I'm going to find it, to this link, you can get started on starting a campus chapter at your campus. So here, this seems like the right one. And I really appreciate you all joining us. I appreciate Gustavo taking the time to join us too. And then the UVM campus chapter for helping us host. Thank you so much. Round of applause to you all. If anybody has any great nature stories or any questions that they want to ask, since we have extra time, feel free to use this space.
Yeah, speaking of ospreys returning, I got my first osprey last weekend of the year. I almost started crying. I love them. I was very happy.
Amazing. Did you get that at Shelburne Bay? Is that where you were?
No, I was up in Missisquoi National Wildlife Refuge.
Beautiful.
Should we get the first pine warblers tomorrow or winter wrens? Should that happen? Not tomorrow, in a few days or something.
According to eBird, a couple warblers have already been reported in the state. Palm, yellow rumped, and pine, I think.
Well, state is big.
Fair enough.
I want to go to Centennial Woods and see a pine warbler singing. Last time I was there, well, last spring I was here, April 19th was the day I got my first pine warbler there. I want it to be earlier. It seems unfair because I got ruby crown kinglet before pine warbler. It should not work like that.
Every day observing.
Yeah.
Built heron. Huh.
Also, like I feel like I'm already to get hot streak because I've gotten like several times I've seen crossbills on campus, some even behind my door.
Wow.